we can convert somebody, these people are putting us in trouble, right? And there are many examples like this.
One example for the sisters who are listening up there would be, this sister who approached us. Actually, okay, fine. So in Chicago, we had this project called Placing the Message of Islam on the Buses. Right? Some of you may have seen or heard about this through YouTube. So one sister, alhamdulillah, she embraced the faith of Islam through seeing the ad on the bus, and she contacted us. Now, her mom, who lives in Michigan, so it's a different state. So she became very angry that how come my daughter, she converted to Islam, the faith of the so-called terrorists. So she came from Michigan to Chicago to convert her daughter back to Christianity. So she spent some time with her daughter, and the daughter said, whatever that you say, I'm not going to go back to Christianity, but if you want to know more about Islam, I could get in touch with you with some people who are able to tell you more about Islam and answer your questions. So they invited her to our masjid, alhamdulillah, right? So after 2 hours of conversation with her, alhamdulillah, crying, she recited the Shahada, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Now, the very first day after she embraced the faith of Islam, she approached us and she said, can we get some brochures? So she requested some brochures, actually the 1-minute cards, right? So we gave it to her. So 3 weeks after we gave it to her, my wife, she received a call from that lady who went back to Michigan as a Muslim, right? The very first week, or actually 3 weeks after. So she said to my wife, I have wonderful news for you. And this is what she said. As I was traveling in my bus back to Michigan, and she was starting to wear the hijab, by the way, day number 1. As I was going back to Michigan in my bus, I passed out the 1-minute cards to the ladies and to the people in the bus. Very important. And then she said, 2 weeks after I passed on the cards, I received a call from a lady. And that lady on the other end, she said, Assalamu alaikum. And the lady from Michigan, she said, Wa alaikum assalam, but who are you? So she said, I was that lady in the bus who you passed that 1-minute card to. I liked what I read. I went to the mosque in Wisconsin, and I embraced the faith of Islam. 1 week into Islam, not knowing the details that we know of, we take it for granted. A lady in her 60s, by the way, she converted. Well, she did not come. She gave the message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the hidayah. So it does not, the excuses that we carry, that we don't have time, we don't have knowledge, how can we answer this question? Brothers and sisters, resources are out there. Books are out here. Scholars are accessible. In the masjid, people with experience are out there. Even if you don't have experience, go out there, converse with people. Even if you say wrong answer, come back, and again contemplate. I have mentioned this thing to this person who asked me this question. Could I have used a better choice of words, better example, better analogy, better reference next time? So next time when you go out in the street with your neighbor, with your colleague, at least that one answer to that one question, now you'll be more eloquent about that. You have to be on the job to learn the job. If you have to go swimming, you just cannot swim. If a person is saying, okay, that's the swimming pool, that's how you flap your hands and your leg. You cannot learn swimming like that, correct? For you to learn swimming, you have to dip your feet in the swimming pool. So we have to have, take away that fear, the initial hesitation, the fear that we have, and be exposing ourselves out there in the marketplace, in the field of Dawah. And once we do that, our hesitation is going to go away, inshallah. We'll feel more confident, we'll feel more motivated, and we'll feel good. Alhamdulillah. We are out there in the front, fulfilling the obligation, and we are doing the job that the messengers of Allah used to do. Any questions, comments? Yes.
First of all, I want to apologize when you asked about the Muslim population. I was thinking of the world population, so I give you the wrong number. My apologies for that.
No problem.
Maybe 6, now it may be more than 6 billion. So we are about 25% of the world population.
Yes.
My point is one thing is very clear in the Quran, and the scientific facts show that our earth is like a speck of dust in comparison to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all the prophets were Muslims. All the prophets that Rasul mentioned, they are equals. They are the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we respect all the three books that were revealed, the Injil, the Bible, and the Quran. Unfortunately, the books have been changed over a period of time. And as you said, there are 50 different versions or how many versions. So it's not that the original book that was revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we disrespect. We respect all the books. Secondly, there's a big misunderstanding that the Muslims are here to convert everybody and take over the United States. And that's not true. Our role is to convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you mentioned. Allah guides whom He wills, and only Allah whom He guides will become a Muslim, not everybody. That is depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just a clarification, so people don't feel that, hey, we are here, but we are definitely here to share the knowledge. And as you said, we don't have to be scholars. Our behavior, number one, is important. Our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our behavior, and that's a big very point. I was invited to a family about a month back, and the lady was in the medical profession. She's retired now, she's 72 years. And her husband comes from Syria, and he was originally Jewish, and somehow converted to Christianity. And we were invited for dinner, and they had a son, and everybody else come. There we were talking. So it was a casual conversation, and somebody asked me a question. I was not doing any propagation, but you know, the point is, if you know about Islam and you talk to them, so he works in Las Vegas, and he said they never knew anything about Islam like this. So he wanted some books. So I took a little copy of the Quran from the masjid in English, and a little booklet that explains all the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of modern language. So he took it, and after 2 weeks he gave me a call. He said that was a wonderful book. He said maybe we should invite you to our church to give a lecture. There's a big misunderstanding. That's a good point. And our role is to convey the message that every human being is the highest creation of God, that they benefit, whether they follow or do not follow, is between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there should not be a misconception that the Muslims are here to convert. No, we have a responsibility, number one, to ourselves and to our community, and also to convey the message to the people. Whether they follow or not, it's up to them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right, so the point of the brother is very much well taken, that we are here in this country or anywhere in the world, by the way, to convey the message. I mean, obviously, life or happening, nobody could compel anyone to force anyone to convert to Islam. So obviously, we are here to share the message of Islam. And we should not, as I mentioned before, over and over again, that we should not get disheartened when we feel a negative feedback, from people when we are trying to convey the message. That should be, taken as, as what has happened with the previous people before us. So we are here to convey the message. If the people, if they receive the message, it is good. Or else, at least we have done our obligation. Yes, sir. Come on.
We thank Dr. Sabeel. I don't want to be rude and interrupt him, but inshallah we'll have more sessions tomorrow. Don't want to over-exhaust him, inshallah. I want to make sure that he has some juice for tomorrow, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, and it's very interesting. We can go on this, okay. But inshallah we have two more tomorrow, right after Dhuhr. We're going to pray Dhuhr and start, and then after Isha again, inshallah.